So last night was, I haven't been sleeping really at all. That's been that way since COVID started, but lately it's kind of resurged as like a nightly I don't sleep. Last night I woke up around like 5 or 6 because Navi came into the bedroom and was meowing, which she's a very quiet cat, normally doesn't meow, and then fucking sprinted out of the room and ran downstairs. And then on top of that, there was this very bizarre noise that was like happening every 5-10 seconds. And I'm laying in bed and I'm sitting there and I'm like, am I in a dream? Am I actually awake? What the fuck is this noise? My window was open, so I thought it was coming from outside, and I was trying so hard to just listen to what this noise was, because it was a very bizarre noise. I couldn't even try to explain it there's no way I could describe the noise. But it was a very weird noise, and it was always the same, and it sounded very like it didn't sound like an animal, it didn't sound like a car, like I didn't know what it could be. And I'm just laying in bed, like, all right, now he's making noise. This sounds like it's coming from outside. Maybe it's coming from the yard. Let me take a walk downstairs. Grab my phone because it's pitch black out. Grab my phone, turn the light on, go downstairs. Navi is just staring out the back door. So now I'm just like, all right, something's in my fucking yard. What the fuck is this noise? Go to the back, flip the light on, nothing. Looking around, Navi's just still laser focused outside. I'm like, all right, I'm not opening this door. Let me go outside and see if let me go out front and see if this noise, I can hear it better out front or quieter. Go to my front door. There's another cat in the middle of my street staring at my house. And now I'm just confused. I'm like, what is happening? Why are cats freaking out right now? Are there aliens? What is because this noise sounded like it could be an alien thing. You know, my brain went kind of nuts. So, cat runs away. Hit me, Mike. No, hit me.
No, keep going.
Cat runs away. I open
the wizard in disguise.
Could have been. Could be. I don't know. I haven't revealed yet. Go up front. All of a sudden,
Animagus.
No noise.
That was what they were called, Mike.
No fucking noise. I got no noise out front. I'm sitting there and I'm like, did it stop? And then my heart drops to the pit of my stomach. The noise is coming from within the house. So now I'm freaked the fuck out even more. So then I run back inside. And then Jen gets up. And now Jen's coming down the stairs and she's like, I think it's the fan. I was so fucking mad it was the fan. I was so fucking mad.
I read that plot of land in like I want to say it was 1892, that area that you're, why are you laughing?
Because go ahead. 18, there was actually an alien infestation. Go ahead.
That's a well-known Indian burial ground for fucking Salem. That whole like plot of land, it's well-known.
You mean Native American burial ground?
Yes, Native American.
No, Indian.
No, the
Indians came over and they were burying.
Well, first of all, you are very incorrect.
For which part? Because we said a lot of things just now.
Yeah, all of it.
Okay.
But
it was a Pakistani animagus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, that part of Salem actually used to be a place where they buried dead bodies that they didn't know how they died. Like,
I think what I said might be better.
Is it?
I think it might be.
I don't know about that. No, it was like there was an almshouse there, which was they would just take in the sick, but they didn't know, like, you know, how to treat them or how fully sick they were or whatever, and they just buried them in unmarked graves in this part of Salem. So it's very likely that my house does have dead bodies under it that are just unmarked graves. So anyways, turned out to be the fan, making a very bizarre noise, which I'm very confused by. I use this fan almost every fucking night. It never makes a fucking noise. It was very expensive. It's one of those stupid Dyson, like, no blade fans that's supposed to be very quiet. I'm very aggravated. Very aggravated that maybe this fan is broken, but also very confused.
I have a question for you.
Hit me with it.
Do any of the ghosts from the unmarked graves ever bust through the wall and just like have a huge boner?
I mean, I haven't seen that specific scene, but I've definitely seen ghosts in my house. Mm-hmm.
You weren't looking hard enough for the boners.
What are the ghosts wearing? Anyways, before we get into tonight's episode, before we started recording, we were talking about a special celebrity guest that was in Salem this weekend.
Oh shit! Is he coming on the episode too?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Todd. I don't know what you're doing, but you're not on the camera when you're leaning forward doing whatever you're doing.
Wait, really? Like
yeah.
that? Oh, so you must have me like. Okay, so let me hold on. I have my new setup.
Oh, his new setup.
Oh
wow. Oh wow. Look
it's
at that.
It's Amanda's little holiday pumpkin holder that's rotating if I move it.
I mean, it's working better. It's actually better than how you normally have your camera. It's way better.
Yeah. Let's use this now and then. There we go.
But I mean, a lot of people come to Salem. Obviously, this is a record-breaking year for Salem in October. Record-breaking yesterday was like over 80,000 people. So fuck us. But also, random celebrities of all levels come to Salem, especially during this time of the year. So I have a question. Dom can't answer because he looked it up already.
He cheated.
Both Mike and Todd, you each get one guess as to who you think or what you would know Matthew Gray Goobler from. You get one guess. I will bump it down to 5 points. 10 points is a lot.
The hint? I thought there was a hint.
I don't know, Dom. Can I give them a hint or no?
I'm not accepting these points regardless.
Oh, down Todd's going to take the high horse. High road.
I don't know. What is your hint gonna be?
All right, I'll give the hint, and then Dom can. I'll give the hint, and then Dom can have the final say of whether or not points are allowed for this correct answer.
No, I'm not. I refuse to accept the points. Mike can have them.
At some point during the movie game on the podcast, one of these movies has been mentioned.
All right, cool.
I'm sure you can give them points because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Out of all the movies in the movie,
I mean, if you went to his IMDb page, Dom, it is the second thing listed there on the known for.
I mean, I know what he's in. Now that I am familiar with him from.
Is he from Paul Blart?
No.
I have to verify, but that's not one of the answers I was looking for. So I'm going to give you a no. Mike, one guess.
When did we reference that?
I'm pretty sure we did it as a movie. One of the box office games that we did on a movie episode.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Matthew Gray Goobler. I don't know. Let's just say he was in Snow Dogs.
I have to verify.
He's not.
Okay. Right. He's not.
He is better known for a TV role.
Oh, you're giving him another clue? Are they getting one more guess here?
I mean, at this point, I don't
give up.
really care about points or anything. I'm just curious as to who this man is. So.
Oh wow, top billing in that TV show. According to IMDb.
I don't think so.
It's not in alphabetical order. It's not in alphabetical order. No. All right, Mike, last guess.
Let me see if I can pull out a good TV show out of my butthole.
I think he's just in the most episodes.
Okay.
Oh, Step by Step.
Oh. Top might have got it.
Small Wonder.
Mike, final guess so we can move on.
Oh, yeah, let's go with Riverdale.
Incorrect. The answer was, of course, Criminal Minds, but the movie that I was specifically referencing was
Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Alvin and the Chipmunks. Right. Also in 500 Days of Summer. Also in, let's see here. What do we got? Dollface.
He was in Life Aquatic.
King Knight.
I don't know what he was in. It says he was just intern.
I can't even picture the dude.
I don't know most of these other things. He was a. I don't. Is this a TV show? He was in Batman: Assault on Arkham. I don't even know what that is.
It was probably an animated movie. Because he's also the voice of Jimmy Olsen in All-Star Superman.
So there you go.
Yeah,
in Salem. I only know.
James Taylor's in Salem too.
I only know that because he took a selfie with the mayor. I'm sorry on Instagram. Anyways, welcome everyone to the Pass Control Podcast, a show where a couple of best friends talk about the latest in video games and nerd culture. Sometimes we have guests like Matthew Gray Gubler, and sometimes we talk about haunted alien ghost noises too much. Either way, we have a new episode for you each and every week. As always, I'm your host, Brenden Groom, and joining me on this lovely Sunday evening, riding the weekend out together, is the anime senpai himself, Mr. Michael Desir. Mike, how are you this evening?
Do you think he always wears a banana on his head, or?
That's why I said that picture.
Done deal.
Do you know who he is now?
I can't see it.
I was already looking at pictures of him before you sent that, and I was like,
"Oh, okay."
Don't know this guy.
I know him from Criminal Minds, and I don't watch Criminal Minds.
I've never watched Criminal. I don't even.
I'm surprised you know him from Criminal Minds and not from the Alvin and Chipmunk movies, because you watch all.
I've never seen the Alvin and the Chipmunks
movies. Oh, here we go.
I haven't either.
Dom's only seen the Squeakle. He hasn't seen the first or third film.
No, I saw Chipwrecked. Chipwrecked.
That's the third movie.
Correct.
Anyways, also joining us this evening is the payload poppy, Mr. Todd Gary. Todd, how are you doing tonight?
Let's get this going so I can play some more. Come on.
And rounding us out is the Disney daddy himself, the Fortnite father, Mr. Dominic 40. Dom, how are you doing?
I'm having fun.
Sounds like it. It really does. It really fucking does. Before we get into tonight's episode, a couple of quick housekeeping things. The first of which is this episode is sponsored by our good friends at Goodnight Fatty. If you're in the Salem, Massachusetts area or in the North Shore on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday evening, you want yourself something hot, something sweet, something tasty, something fresh out of the oven, you can head on down to 1 Washington Square, get yourself a delicious fatty. And if you're unsure what a fatty is, you can check them out on social media at Goodnight Fatty and at Good Morning Chubby and educate yourself on these tasty treats. And let me tell you, if you do head down there, let them know Passing Control sent you. A couple other housekeeping things. I will be doing the final MG charity stream this weekend coming up on Saturday, October 22nd, starting at 10 a.m. And normally for these engagements, I do 12-hour plus. I didn't put a hour mark on this because there's going to be some things that happen throughout the stream. There's going to be some donation goals, some incentives. The overall goal is to hit 3,000. Obviously, going over is great too. We're trying to hit 3,000. We're just over 1,000 currently. You can donate now if you're listening to this now in your car, on your run, at the gym, right live now on Twitch, later on YouTube. You can go now and donate. There's nothing stopping you from adding to our goal and getting these things going, getting us closer to that goal. Or you can tune in on Saturday, hang out, share the stream, and donate then. We'll be playing a lot of different things. There'll be friends and guests coming throughout. And if we hit certain milestones, we'll see how long the stream goes. There's some things cooking for that engagement. So join me Saturday at 10 a.m. for a fun-filled charity day. Couple other housekeeping things. We will have a little bit of a change in normal past controller programming the next few weeks because both Mike and Dom will be on vacation at a certain point. So I believe we will probably record the PTC Movie Club episodes for October, the first week of November would be my assumption based on your two schedules. I mean, next weekend.
We'll make it work somehow.
But next weekend, you guys are gone, correct?
No, I'll be here Friday if we want to record Friday.
I mean, that's up to everyone watching 2 movies from now till Friday, which I'm fine to do, but I don't want to commit everyone to that if you guys can't do that.
Well, no, this weekend wouldn't be the last weekend of the month anyways.
We can still bank it. Either way, we can figure it out. So if you're looking forward to either of the 2 PTC Movie Club episodes, they will probably premiere or be live at the beginning of November and not the end of this month. So apologies if you were really looking forward to our Shrek the Musical show or Little Shop of Horrors, which I want to clarify too for the listeners and for potentially Mike and Todd if they're unaware which version of the film we're watching.
The 1986 film starring Rick Moranis.
Okay. I didn't know there was two versions. Did you know that, Todd? There was two versions of the movie?
No.
Yeah, I didn't either. Did you know that, Mike?
No. I mean, I knew it was a musical. It crossed my mind that there might be like a recording of like the stage production, but in my mind, we were just gonna watch the Rick Moranis.
There was a film before in which I believe I need to double check this fact. Nicholson, I think, plays the Steve Martin character.
Interesting.
I might have actually known that at one point.
So,
but anyways, we are doing the 1986 film directed by Frank Oz, featuring Rick Moranis.
Perfect. There you go. So if there was any confusion on your behalf out there, listeners, now you have the clarity you need. And if you already watched the other one, now you get to watch both. You can compare and contrast on your own with the differences. And the last bit of housekeeping that we have for you this week is we have a bonus episode coming out this Thursday live, and then it will drop on podcast feeds later that weekend. I have a group of lovely folks joining me to do a special Soul Hackers 2 spoiler cast, plus just some general Atlas JRPG banter. So you can look forward to that live on this upcoming Thursday, the 20, I don't know, dates. Let me look at my calendar so I don't say the wrong date here. Thursday the 20th, probably around 9-ish p.m. Eastern time. You can log into my Twitter or the Past Controller Twitter if you want an update on when that will actually go live. But we'll be doing that on Thursday night. So look forward to myself and a lovely group of folks joining me to talk about Soul Hackers 2 and Atlas. So there you go. So I wanted to, unless anyone's been playing anything other than Fortnite, Overwatch, and other stuff we've been talking about before, does anyone have new stuff to add to the mix? No?
I just tried a teeny bit of scoring, but like not even enough to like really go.
So then, yeah, I would wait until you play a little bit more of that then. So that's fine. Well, we're going to move right into what I think.
What's in the box?
What's in the box, baby? An hour-long special. No, so what we're going to do is we just so happened to reach the climax of the MCU Phase 4 television shows. We still have one more movie to come out as part of Phase 4, and that will end Phase 4, which is Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That's the name of the movie, right? Wakanda Forever?
Yeah.
In that November
11th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so excuse me. So Phase 5 will officially conclude with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever in November, but the show portion has concluded with that. I mean, I guess technically the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special is part of Phase 4, I think, but I really can't imagine that's going to be anything other than just like a fun time. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm not expecting that show to like lay any plot groundwork or like do anything other than just like be a fun little thing. So things could change when that happens. I guess maybe what I'm going to present to the three of you may change when that happens too. But what I wanted to do was look at what we have for Phase 4 as far as MCU Disney Plus shows and kind of see where these stand up. I'm assuming that we have all watched. I know Todd finally watched She-Hulk. Did we all watch She-Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
Todd, you watched it, right? Okay. This would have just fell apart if that didn't happen. So, if you haven't watched She-Hulk yet in its entirety or any of the other shows which we may talk about, this is your chance to probably skip forward maybe a good, I don't know, at least 15, 20 minutes of the show to avoid any of that because we're going to talk about the Phase 4 television shows. So, Phase 4 for the shows is WandaVision, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, and She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And now, I don't really know how Werewolf by Night falls into Phase 4. If it's like what exactly it's supposed to do. We can include it in this if we want to. We don't have to because it's a special presentation.
Can. I still haven't watched it.
Oh, then we won't include it. We can include that with the movies if we do this for the Phase 4 movies when we've all seen Black Panther, which I don't know when we could do that because I am not going to the movies. So, anyways.
The next movie I'm going to see is probably going to be whatever comes out first, Mario or Spider-Verse.
Does Spider-Verse not have a date?
I don't know when it comes out.
But I forget when it got delayed
to. March?
Then it's first.
There's already toys everywhere for it.
Yeah, because it was supposed to come out this year, I think, initially. That's probably why there's toys. They got to get those things produced in advance. Into the Spider-Verse 2, according to Google, it says June 2nd, 2023. I don't know how accurate that is. But if that's the case, then I think that is after Mario, because I think Mario is May or April. I think it's April. Anyways. What's the temperature check overall on Phase 4 Marvel Disney Plus shows? Where are we standing here with this?
I mean, it's all right. No, I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever want to watch WandaVision again, even though I did enjoy it. I don't think there's any going back to that and really being I mean, I could be wrong on this. I don't know if you guys have ever.
I have rewatched WandaVision probably 3 times at least.
Yeah.
But that was also when it was out. I watched it multiple times.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's just Loki and She-Hulk are the only ones that really caught my attention and I really enjoyed.
So you'd put those 2 shows at the top for you?
Yeah, easily.
What about you, Mike?
Where would I put my things? I think overall I would lean towards the funnier things more than anything else. So I would put probably She-Hulk and maybe Hawkeye higher up than most other things. I still don't know what I feel about WandaVision. But that's because I've said multiple times, I struggle to untangle my thoughts about the show as a whole versus everyone going into it with maybe the wrong expectations, and I haven't fully been able to kind of.
You just pissed Mephisto, wasn't it?
The show was fine, but every week when we were talking about it, and we're like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen," and ultimately none of those things happened. It was still a fine show, but now I have to reevaluate it based off of what it was actually trying to do, as opposed to what we thought it was supposed to do.
I mean, I would argue that WandaVision was trying to get you to question things and was trying to stir things up. I don't know if they planned for it to get as high as it did.
It was, but I think we were asking all the wrong questions.
But that's still, I think that's still part of what the show was trying to do. And even if it wasn't initially, I feel like they definitely leaned into it with social media and stuff.
I don't think it was, especially because I don't believe that was the first show to come out of the gate. They had shifted the schedule out. That was supposed to be maybe their second or third show they want to put out. And I think if that were the case, things would have been a little bit different.
Yeah, maybe.
Especially if they started with Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So if they start with Falcon,
I guess my thing, on Mike's point, is I am still confused as to what the shows are supposed to be doing.
The shows?
Because the shows in general.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like some of them are introducing concepts and characters that will be brought into the future, and some of them are just self-contained pieces. And I don't know if that's intentional, especially for shows that are using film characters. We're watching development of these characters and then they're being used in film, and it almost feels like there was no reason for that. I mean, I don't know. I guess the WandaVision example is bad because the Multiverse of Madness portion, like that was a direct.
Yeah.
The events of that film, like, directly were affected by WandaVision, but
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're
like,
saying. Oh, go ahead.
I don't know, like Moon Knight. Do we expect that? Like, there was a battle of gods over Egypt. Do we expect that anything is going to be said about that at all?
So here's where I'm kind of at with some of this. I think you're right. I think some of these things, or a lot of these things, are like sort of self-contained stories. I do kind of think that part of that is by design, and I don't necessarily, like, I don't personally think that's like a strike against the shows. Like, I'm fine with them doing their own little stories or doing their own thing. Out of all of these shows in Phase 4, I'll agree with you that I think Moon Knight, though I enjoyed it, is the one that probably sticks out the most of like, what exactly are they doing with this show, and what exactly is the future of Moon Knight specifically? Like, I don't need all of these shows personally. I don't need all these shows to like intertwine and tie directly into grand plot schemes and or tie into movies. I think we've at this point probably mentioned it on the show, but I believe Kevin Feige has said that like they're going forward sort of splitting the MCU into like street level threats and heroes, and I don't know what the other verbiage for the other thing is, but like more galaxy level types of threats where it's like you're probably not going to necessarily see Daredevil fighting fucking Kang. Maybe you will, but like probably not. Would be my guess.
I just think it's interesting that he says that, and then like one of the first movies that's going to come out after like that statement is The Marvels, where Miss Marvel is just a teenager and she's going to be with Captain Marvel, and like like right away they're intermixing street level and
I think they'll play
literal galactic superhero.
Yeah, I think they will play around with it, and you're still going to see some of these different like street level versus galactic heroes interact, but I think that like even when we get to Avengers 5 and Avengers 6, I think you will still get a lot more people on the screen at once in reference than in there and cameos and stuff, but I still don't think it's going to be necessarily like Endgame where, hey, everyone is fucking here. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case with the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. I forget what they're both called.
I feel like Secret Wars is probably going to have everybody in it.
I mean, that may make sense, but I don't know if necessarily both of them will have that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I also don't necessarily see the movie plots for when they start to grow the party and like get people linked up, that it's going to necessarily resolve in like every single person is showing up in these shows. I think the other thing too that is worth kind of throwing out there is like they are definitely, obviously when it comes to the MCU, I mean, it's got to be the top generating entertainment thing currently, if not one of the things that is. Like, I have to imagine this is the most money generating property out there right now is the MCU at whole. So, they're allowed to dig deeper into the Marvel well and make things about stuff that, might not be received well by the mainstream, that maybe they're going to just take a shot on a show like Moon Knight, and maybe Moon Knight doesn't fucking come back. Maybe he doesn't show up anywhere else. Maybe they try one more chance with like getting him and Blade and fucking Jon Snow together, or maybe they don't. I have no idea. I don't know how often they look at how well a movie or show does, both like critically and monetarily, and then make decisions for future plot lines in the MCU to be like, no, we're going to change routes. We're not going to do that anymore.
I mean, they have one of the like hottest like actors. It's like Oscar Isaac is like a huge it guy right now. They're gonna probably do whatever it takes to make him bigger and bigger in the universe.
I mean, they've definitely, I think, have signed on more hot actors in regards to like the Infinity War saga. I mean, you got Mahershala Ali, you got Oscar Isaac, you got
Would Brad Pitt be a good Doctor Doom?
No.
No.
I thought you wanted Howard Stern, Todd.
I mean, I do, but I just don't think they'd like revolt. People would revolt if that happened. I'd be so sad. I'd be like all day long.
Rotten Tomatoes has an average approval rating of 86% for Moon Knight. And apparently across the first quarter of 2022, it had 33.4 times the average demand of all of the series in the US. So, like, it was doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
don't.
just, like, not connected to anything.
Yeah, it's not. I think I've mentioned this. I feel like I've at least talked to Mike about it in person, if not mentioned it on the podcast before. But I feel like with them revealing more of what Phase 4 and Phase 5 and a little bit after that, what things entailed and like what projects are supposed to be in those timelines and groupings, what we're building up to seemingly with Kang and Secret Wars. I feel like in the background they're also sort of maybe setting up beyond that, where Eternals is dealing with certain things. You got Egyptian gods being mentioned in Moon Knight. Thor: Love and Thunder Thor: Love and Thunder is dealing with
Bast was there for Black Panther, and there was Egyptian gods there too, but I don't remember who.
Yeah, so like they are introducing these different like types of deities and stuff. So I don't know if that's going to lead into a future plotline that we just haven't. We're not like our focus is not there because Marvel is telling us what the focus is, which is Kang in Secret Wars. So who knows? I mean, maybe it is like just in the
mutants
background.
Are starting to show up too.
Not only that, I mean, besides them just showing up, I mean, the last episode of She-Hulk, which I really enjoyed. I mean, she looks at the camera and like, what about the X-Men? Like, they're getting right into that. Obviously we got fucking Hugh Jackman coming into the Deadpool movie, so there's things there. They're ready to go.
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Huge Assman. I meant to look up. There was an old episode of the show where we kept saying Huge Assman, and I don't know why.
Has a ring to it.
It was unprompted.
So, temperature check for the Phase 4 at all. You're not really a big fan, Dom, for the shows.
I mean, I don't know that there was a show that I didn't enjoy.
Okay.
I feel like Falcon and the Winter Soldier fell a little flat for me, but most of them I like.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of dragged. It had its moments.
It was like slow. Yeah, it had like a couple good moments, and like Miss Marvel. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes, but like there was some really bad dialogue in that show. Like when she was fighting one of the enemies, like the dialogue back and forth between, I forget what dude she was fighting, but like it was just really bad. It just wasn't good. It was like bad jokes that didn't land. Like it just was. I don't know. And that's kind of one of my gripes about this phase is that everything feels super rushed in every single one. Even every movie I've seen, give or take something here and there. But in She-Hulk's like probably one of my favorite things that's come out of this phase. And the fucking CGI in that show is so hard to like. It just pulls me out of it, even though I love it, and I have to keep on telling myself, yeah, don't. It's stupid to get, but like it's so bad. Like when she's walking, it doesn't even like blend in that well with the rest of the show. Like it's just, it really, really bothers me, and I just, I mean, we obviously know that they've been, crunching all these fucking VFX guys, but man, take your time with some of this shit. It just seems like there's been some bad writing and some really bad CGI throughout. Even the Moon Knight had a lot of bad CGI in it too.
It definitely feels like they have too many plates spinning at the same time. But,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Overall, like I enjoy everything. I just like
yeah.
If the MCU's big thing is that everything's connected. I don't even need it to be like. I don't need it to be like, all right, this story directly connects to fucking everything. But if you start introducing too much, but everything's supposed to be connected, at some point I'm at the point where I'm looking at everything on the table going, I don't understand how this can be how can this be connected?
Yeah, that's where
You've-
my head's at most of the time.
You
too.
introduced gods, you've introduced like I want to say the undead.
We haven't even gotten
Monsters,
to Fantastic Four, X-Men, like we just
genies,
so much.
mutants. Like, you've introduced all this shit that's existing on Earth at the same time as everything that we're watching, but the movies don't deal with any of that.
But the movies, I feel like, have also been sort of contained, but also like you gotta. I mean, let me pull up a list of the movies so I don't misspeak here. Black Widow takes place in the past. Shang-Chi takes place in timeline wise, I don't know.
Francisco?
It's after
Francisco sometime
Endgame.
after.
Yeah.
It's after Endgame, yeah.
Well, it's not just in San Francisco. They go to wherever the fuck they go through to like the second half of the film.
Yeah.
They're not in there. Are they in Comertage or are they in China? I don't know where they are.
Not
There's
Comertage.
somewhere. Not Comertage.
Isn't Wong in the movie or is that just the end of the movie?
Just
That's
the
the end of the movie.
end.
No,
Any portals
where do
in
they
the same
go?
guys?
Where do they go?
One is also in She-Hulk, and they're also not in Comertage and She-Hulk.
What where do
Except for
they
the parts where they are when they're watching the Sopranos.
where do they go?
Except for the Sopranos.
Yeah, where do they go in Shang-Chi? Where are they when Wong is fighting Abomination?
Somewhere in China, I believe. It's wherever they left his sister.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Sister was, yeah.
Okay. Eternals takes place, I don't know, all throughout time, so sure. No Way Home takes place in New York, I guess.
New York.
But it's like also takes place in different. Well, I guess no, it's in our New York.
In our New York. Directly before Hawkeye? Directly after Hawkeye?
I think directly before, because it ends with him swinging through New York and like the Christmas trees up, right? And then Hawkeye takes place around Christmas.
Okay. Doctor. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's no mention of any of the events of No Way Home and Hawkeye. I guess everyone would have forgotten.
So I know, I believe in Hawkeye.
Oh wait, no, Hawkeye should have been before,
They
right?
mentioned that it would have been before. I think they were mentioning
Because the shield
somewhere in Hawkeye,
was being added to
shield-
the Statue of Liberty. Yeah.
Liberty. Yeah.
So it was before or after
Hawkeye would have been before
Spider-Man.
most of the events of
Yeah.
No Way Home.
But like one of you just said, Spider-Man at the end of Spider-Man, no one should know who Peter Parker is.
Right.
But does it erase the memory of like all the the Statue of Liberty being like destroyed?
I think they just don't know
guess they
who
didn't
Peter
really
Parker
destroy
is. They know Spider-Man exists. They just don't know who Peter
They know
Parker is.
Spider-Man exists. They do not
Yeah.
know Peter Parker as a
Yeah.
person, nor do they know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
Yes, and
So,
then but
all the damage that happens to the Statue of Liberty, they attribute to Spider-Man. but
yeah,
Peter Parker's off the hook.
which could end up being an
Spider-Man.
interesting plot line depending on how they handle Spider-Man in the MCU going forward, because Spider-Man would then, I don't know, he's a menace. Anyways, but it also, I believe, applies to only people that were on Earth. So like technically Thor, Guardians.
I think that's just speculation.
Speculation, and like, what difference does it make? I suppose.
He could be the way that
Someone
they.
should be like, hey, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Like, are they going to
Well,
tell people? No one
I
knows
mean,
who Peter
it
Parker
could
is.
it could be the situation where it's like there's an issue and they need Spider-Man's help, and like Thor or someone is like, I know where to find him. I know who he
How
is.
would he know where to find him? Like, does he know where Peter Parker lives?
I'm sure he
Does he know
knows.
use a computer
I'm
to
sure
look
he
up
knows
Peter
fucking
Parker?
how to get to New York. He'd be like, oh, I know. We'll fucking go here.
I know Spider-Man's in New York. Spider-Man's always in New York.
Did Thor meet Spider-Man?
I don't know.
I
feel
don't know
never
either.
have seen it.
He didn't.
I think we've had this conversation, Mike.
I don't fucking know.
I think there's like two people that had
At the-
interactions
at the-
with him, and one of them is Fury.
Yeah. At the
That
end
who?
of-
That had
at the end of
interaction with
No Way
Spider-Man?
Home-
Yeah.
that are still alive in the MCU. Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange made the spell, so I imagine that he forgets who Parker is.
I guess that's true. Well, I'm just saying who knows who Peter is.
But
At the end of the movie,
Well, hold on. Fury is in space, so it doesn't fucking matter. If that ends up being true, Fury is currently in space, so he would know who he is still.
yes, well, we're also assuming that is a thing that will be.
I mean, I would also probably imagine that another way out of this thing, if it ends up being a thing at all, is that Fury has like files on everybody. So he would have a file on Spider-Man that would have, I'm assuming, information about, unless magic works on paper. I don't fucking know.
Magic
Well,
must
if
work on paper.
magic doesn't work on
Peter had to
paper,
go get his
then
GED.
yeah. Also, if magic doesn't work on paper, then there's a video of Mysterio revealing that Spider-Man is Peter Parker. The whole plot of the fucking movie, Brenden.
Listen, I'm not in the writer's room. I don't know what the fuck they're trying to do. I think the real reason why they did that to Peter Parker is because it is uncertain if how much they can use Spider-Man in the MCU going forward. So that was their way to be like, listen, oh, no one knows who he is now. Like that is the blanket reason why I think they did that.
Also, like classically, Spider-Man is known as like classically in the Spider-Man comics, like people don't know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That's a whole thing. He's working for J.
Except that train full of people.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but
that train full of people, obviously.
Yeah, but is Spider-Man's identity not revealed in the Civil War comics?
It is.
Yeah, and then I think he got like shot or something.
Well, fucking should have fucking
he shouldn't have
fucking sided with Tony. He shouldn't have fucking sided with Tony.
Anyways,
wait, Mephisto?
They did. Yeah,
did.
One more day.
Made a deal with Mephisto.
One more day.
Mephisto's coming. Spider-Man 4.
There was two of them. There was like One More Day, and I forget what the other one's called.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say it happened in the comics, and the only person that remembered was Hulk, and not Banner, just Hulk.
Well, luckily for us in the MCU, we get Science Hulk or whatever they call him, Smart Hulk, so we're good.
Well, luckily for us, fucking Bruce never met Peter.
So wait, Peter has only met the Guardians, Strange, and Tony.
Iron Man.
That's it.
And I guess Captain Marvel, but again,
when did he meet Captain Marvel?
And Captain America.
And he's like, "Hi, Peter Parker, can you have something for me?" And he gives her the.
Okay.
When he's running around without his mask at that fucking battle.
No, doesn't he have his? He doesn't have a mask. He doesn't have his hood on.
No, at the end of Infinity War, everyone took their masks off so you could all see what their faces look like.
Well, you gotta be sad, Mike. Jeez.
Acting.
Exactly. Anyways, this got way away from us. I don't even know how we got to this point. But overall, MCU Phase 4 TV shows. Can we definitively pass the controller rank these? There's at least with Todd and Mike, there's some crossover. Do you have a top two? Because they both gave top twos.
Would be Hawkeye.
You didn't even say fucking Hawkeye, Todd.
No, I said my third would be Hawkeye.
Oh, well, we'll get there. We'll get to third. I'm trying to see if we have overlap on top twos, because that would make it easy to start the top of the list off.
I don't know. I'm gonna struggle with this. Loki's probably in my top two.
Okay.
If you think about it, Loki also introduced like a huge part of what's coming in the next phases.
Why? Mephisto wasn't in Loki. That was WandaVision.
And like I feel like Loki's show had them like now that we know where they're going, that had the most stakes towards like the future of the MCU.
I got a hot take, but I'll let Dom finish.
The other stuff also has stuff that we don't know about. I don't know if gods show up more, or if mutants show up more, or if I don't know, super soldier serum shows up more. I guess that was Power Broker. I don't know what you want to say the results of Falcon and the Winter Soldier was. Oh, I was gonna say the Expendables.
Thunderbolts?
Huh? Thunderbolts, yeah, there we go. I don't know why Expendables was stuck in my head.
Was it Todd that called it like the cannonballs the other day?
Yeah. But Thunderbolts is a direct result of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I think I think where we're at to be considered for with what's going on, like I think we are used to the MCU in regards to what the Infinity Saga was, where it seemed like at a certain point we had kind of been given this is the end goal, and everything sort of was kind of leading up to that. And obviously we didn't really have the TV shows then. Like I know we had the Netflix shows, but those didn't really tie into much or anything. And then I know we had like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I never watched it, so I couldn't speak on that, but I don't think that really ended up really tying anything together, Mike, right?
It had entire seasons devoted into tying into movies, and then it was just deemed that it was no longer needed, so they just stopped.
Gotcha. So like I think
like they did an entire season on Hydra infiltrating S.H.I.E.L.D.
Interesting.
Before Civil War, right?
Before Civil War dropped, and then they're like, guess what? Ward is actually fucking part of Hydra.
Wow.
And so is
it was good TV.
Bill Paxton.
Pullman?
Oh shit.
I don't know. We'll put that to the side.
The one that was not in Independence Day.
So the one who died,
Yeah,
Bill Paxton.
Bill Brasky. Let's call it back to last week. Like I think part of these shows is to help alleviate the origin film being a film in the MCU. Like I think that's part of it. Blanket. Like, hey, we want to get some of these heroes into the MCU. Obviously they need to be introduced properly. But we don't want to just like continue to make movies on that. So I think that is part of it. Shows that
Captain Marvel.
Is it because then they did a Black Widow movie, which was an origin movie.
I think
10 years after.
I think that was mostly made to like, hey, we should have given this character a movie probably at some point. I think that's kind of. I mean,
they should have had Budapest in that fucking movie. I mean, that's what they should have had. They should have had a fucking.
But I don't think that's the whole purpose of these shows. I think it's also like, if Falcon and the Winter Soldier's thing is partially to like, hey, Falk is Captain America now, but also like to introduce the Thunderbolts, that could just be the extent of really what the purpose of the show was, to set up this next little plot line that isn't maybe like the big giant thing we all want to cross over and, merge together. But like, hey, fucking Julia Louis-Dreyfus characters here assembling this team, and fucking Todd's favorite girl is there now, and whatever. What is her name?
Except didn't that get spoiled by everything getting delayed? Didn't that happen in Black Widow first? Am I misremembering that?
So, I think Widow came out. Yeah, I think Black Widow came after Falcon Winter Soldier. Falcon Winter Soldier came out in March, and I'm pretty sure Black Widow was like in the summertime.
I don't know, because that also had her. So
yeah, but like again, what is She-Hulk's purpose other than introducing She-Hulk to the MCU to start this new Hulk plot line? I don't know. Is it to also introduce Daredevil? I mean, obviously, clearly, it's also to introduce Daredevil. In the comics, does She-Hulk ever like practice law with Daredevil? Is that a thing that they do or no? Like, do you think she's gonna move to New York and like start like do a firm with Daredevil? Like, is that gonna be a thing, you think, or no?
I don't know. I doubt it, because I don't know that they'll want to. I don't know. There was already a lot of pulling away from her in this show. I doubt that they're going to want to pull away from him in his show.
Yeah. I mean, his show's also like 20 episodes or something. It's a lot longer than any other MCU show. Yeah.
It's also interesting that in episode 1 or 2, she was like, yeah, this isn't going to be a show about cameos. And then every fucking episode had a cameo.
Well, I mean, I think they addressed that joke. Like, it's not going to be a show about cameos, even though we had a cameo in this episode.
It was tongue-in-cheek, I'm sure. But
yeah.
Well, you know what's wild about that show, too, is that, like, I felt watching that show that I was watching it like they made the episode the week before. The way they planned out how people were going to react to that show and like
Yeah.
everything, it just felt like it was
I might
like
put that in my top 2. It was self-contained episodes. It felt like a TV show versus feeling like a movie that they split up into episodes.
Yes.
yeah.
I agree with you, Todd. Or it's in your top 2, Dom. Loki, She-Hulk.
I might put that in my top 2.
Okay.
It's yeah. I don't know. I'll probably until I think otherwise. Yeah, that's probably in my top 2.
So I agree with you, Todd. I think that this might be the best written MCU show easily, just because of how it really
Wow, the
did
people
seem like
talk shit about
it really did seem like they were writing those shows in real time, because it was like lining up perfectly with the discourse around the show.
It was the best written show as a show.
Yes.
It
I mean-
felt like the other shows
and the
were.
arguments I've seen is that it's horribly written and not funny. That's like the arguments I've
It's so
seen
funny.
for it.
This show made me laugh constantly. Like, it
All
made
the
me
time,
laugh
yeah.
all the time.
There were some good.
And
Some good one-liners.
I feel like there are some people that maybe weren't as hot on the fucking finale. I love the finale. The finale fucking...
I was like, honestly, the finale, I think, is one of the best things that Marvel's done in a long time.
Yeah.
It's very unique, and it's like taking shots at itself.
Yeah.
And I even think, like, like with when Hulk comes in at the end, I think they purposely made him look like that because it's basically what they were making fun of, like the whole like episode of like daddy issues, and like they just made him look like bad on purpose. I think like that character
You
because
think
like
he
everyone
looked
wants.
bad? I don't think... Why did he look bad? You mean like
I don't know.
CGI?
It was a terrible hairline.
The hair, like the haircut, like the way the clothes he was in, I think that was just playing more into everything that they were doing
Oh,
in
maybe.
that show.
I don't know.
Because just to like piss people off more, like like we're gonna introduce this character right at the end, and he's gonna be goofy as fuck. It's like, and you can deal with it.
Yeah, maybe. I
But,
don't know.
like,
That was great. And like, I never watched the Daredevil Netflix show, but like Charlie Cox throughout his appearances in this show were fucking like, he's fantastic. He's just like a good actor.
If
I
you
enjoyed
like
him.
him in this, then it's a very different show. So
yeah, it's so.
I can't really say.
But I just think he's like a good. I liked his delivery
He's
of lines.
awesome.
Like, he was funny.
Awesome as Murdoch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I would imagine he's acts similar in Daredevil. No, like I know Daredevil on Netflix is a dark show and like violent.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's
A lot
different.
more serious.
I would say his Murdoch is probably about the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
like-
Yes. Yeah.
His Murdoch in Daredevil is still like jokey.
Yeah.
But his Daredevil is very different.
Yeah, because he's like I like
Skulls.
the. First of all, I'm sorry, but
Fucking
Todd,
the hallway scene they gave him was fucking dope. I do like
In
that
She-Hulk?
they still gave him a hallway
yes,
scene.
yeah, I really, for someone who did not watch Daredevil or Punisher and know that the hallway scene is like the thing everyone talks about, I was happy when I was like, oh fuck, they're giving this dude a hallway scene right now. I'm sure very different than the hallway scenes in Netflix, but
It was similar.
yeah,
It was similar, but in
He was.
I mean, it was
and-
less
and-
graphic,
and-
obviously.
Yeah.
to fight
Yeah,
everyone.
and he was taking way more hits in the Netflix show. Like in the Netflix show, he's constantly getting the shit kicked out of him while he's kicking the shit out of people.
Yeah.
So like he's just like constantly getting whooped and whooping
Now-
people's asses. All day.
this is I need to like keep track of my points in my head because there were multiple things I wanted to say, but I don't know if there is an answer to this, and if there is, I feel like one of you may know. Is the Daredevil Netflix show, like, is any of that plot and or character supposed to be carried into the MCU, or is this supposed to be like just a new interpretation of that character?
You haven't said.
Okay.
You haven't said.
It
Based on what we
sounds
know
like-
so far, what are you thinking?
It sounds like it's going to be the same character.
That's pretty cool.
The show is called Born Again, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And that is a storyline of like
it is a storyline.
yeah.
Like-
so it
It's a
sounds like
storyline.
they're
I
going.
didn't watch. No, I was gonna say,
Yeah, I didn't watch.
season
I didn't
three,
watch
so
the
I don't know.
newest season. I don't know if I watched the last season of Daredevil. I can't remember.
Is
The
Is-
last season, I think, kind of played off of Born Again.
Yeah.
Like,
so I think that
uh,
this is going to be a carryover.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Is the version of Kingpin that we have seen so far? So like, does that seem like a could be a continuation of that character too? Do you guys or no?
Similar, but the thing that I've seen is it's similar, but he like has more staying power almost.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll probably watch that show soon. I feel like I need
Honestly,
to watch
man, even like the first season's amazing of Daredevil, but the
Even-
second
yeah.
season. Second season
Even
of
if it-
Bernthal as Punisher and everything, and the
Yeah.
dialogue that they have with each other when they're on the rooftop and shit like that. Like, there's just so
I
many
loved-
iconic scenes.
most of those shows. I was gonna say
Same.
all those shows, but Iron Fist.
And then you remembered
dragged
Iron Fist?
So
I couldn't even watch
bad.
Do you-
Iron Fist. Yeah, I didn't
do
watch
you
it.
think-
It was good. It was just it dragged so bad. There was so much like I don't know. There was so much bad mixed in with the good.
Do you
that,
think
like,
that, especially with the Daredevil show being like 20-ish episodes, do you think that they're going to introduce John Bernthal?
I hope so. I'd like to, but who knows?
Like,
I don't know.
I don't know how you make him work in this universe. Like, it's just like
Deborah
I don't
Ann
know.
Wall said that she wasn't invited back yet.
I don't know who that is.
It's
Played a main character in Daredevil.
yeah, Karen.
Yeah,
I did watch the first 2 episodes of
she's a main
Daredevil,
character.
but I would probably rewatch them. Is she the nurse?
she's the girl from True Blood,
That
the
was-
redhead.
The
Right?
nurse
Is that what
was
you're talking about?
The nurse is
Who's that?
Rosario Dawson.
Oh,
There
oh
we go.
wow, that is right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked the banter between. I mean, I think Tatiana Maslany, fantastic,
No,
like
their chemistry is
incredible.
amazing in
But
that
their
show.
chemistry on the
That
show
was
is
good.
really good. Like, I really enjoyed that. I hope that they have more plot lines together because I thought it was
Yeah.
good. And I still think about and laugh when she looks at the camera and says, "Yeah, I smash fourth walls and sometimes Matt Murdock." I laughed so fucking hard. I was like, I can't believe that was a joke in the MCU. Like, that's ridiculous to me.
That one. How about the one where she's like, "That's not the only thing that." Well, that's not the only thing that finished. Like,
Oh, that's right.
I forget
Yes,
what the-
yes,
yeah.
yes. I know what you're talking about.
she essentially makes a cum joke.
Yeah,
Like,
yes, I think it was in the previous episode because it's when her and Matt Murdock hook up.
okay.
I think. Oh, it's because
That's not the only thing that was finished. That finished satisfyingly, or something.
So it
I
was
forget.
something like the morning rolls in and she looks at the camera and she's like, "This episode's still
This
going
episode's
on."
gonna be over,
Yeah, this episode should be over. That was a satisfying climax, or like whatever,
Yeah, that's
something
what
like
it was,
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, fucking great show. Really fucking good show. So okay, I think that for me, She-Hulk is definitely in my top 2, potentially in my top 1. So that puts She-Hulk in all 4 of our top 2s. So instantly makes it a contender to be just the number 1 show for the 4 of us. My hot take. I think, though I enjoyed Loki, I think Loki might actually be the most overhyped show in Phase 4. I don't think it's
Loki-
bad. I
It
don't
was
think
like
it's...
Lost. It kept you guessing every episode. Like, we're like, no other shows are like keeping me guessing. It was basically like, where the fuck is this going? And then it had a pretty good payoff where you get like a main villain who's going to be like the biggest part of the next phase, basically.
I think
it was the only show that really paid off, minus She-Hulk, because I thought that episode finale was great. But
I think for
I don't
me, my top 2 are She-Hulk and WandaVision. That's where I'm going to put my top 2. She-Hulk and WandaVision. Like, regardless of what WandaVision, like, for me, and this is hard to quantify because, again, whether it was a purpose of the show or just accidental and it worked in their favor, that moment around the show when it was live, like that to me made that show probably better than it was. But like that's still a factor for me looking at the show and still thinking about that now. Like, I just enjoyed the speculation. I enjoyed the conversation week to week. It was none of the other shows have done that. Like, and they're not all trying to, and maybe none of them are trying to, but that aspect of it is like something that, not every show can do. And when it's done and it works and the community gets involved in that way, that's like, I don't know, a moment that is hard to not consider for me when I'm thinking about these shows, for what it's worth. But I think that means we have to look at these shows. How many are there? I didn't watch What If, so I can't comment on What If.
it was one. It was good. It
9
was fine.
shows.
I mean,
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, so I think just based on all of our top 4s, it just unanimously that puts She-Hulk in 1, I would imagine. Because we all put it, that's the only thing that's in all 4 of our thing. So She-Hulk would go to 1. 2 of you have Loki.
3 of us, I think, right?
No, Mike has Hawkeye. 2 of you have Loki. Mike has Hawkeye, and I put Wanda. So I think that means that for Todd and Dom, Loki would, end up being their number 2 or 1. Mike, me and you now have to decide what is Loki for us. Top of the mixture, bottom of the mixture, where are we feeling Loki?
Hold on, because I'll be honest. While we were when you initially asked the question, we were listing off shows. I kind of sort of forgot that Moon Knight existed, and I haven't really tried fitting into the equation at all.
It's so like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah. I only mentioned that because like in my head I'm like, okay, I guess I can group the next couple shows, and I would say Loki and Winter Soldier somewhere there. But I feel like
I think Loki. I think Winter Soldier and Moon Knight for me suffered from lack of episodes. I think that
they were short.
Yeah, they were short. I think Loki, Hawkeye, and Moon Knight. Oh, and Miss Marvel were all 6. Oh, and Falcon were all 6 episodes.
But I think Loki worked in those 6 episodes, whereas like I don't think, because like I feel like I said with Loki there was like a satisfying conclusion. It leaves it open ended.
I guess.
Or like.
So let's try to do this then. Maybe this is where we can start to build this list. Is there a common thread on what our worst show is? Todd, what would you put at the bottom of your list, Todd? I'll read them again so everyone can think about it. WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk.
Hate to say it, but Miss Marvel.
Mike, what would you put at the bottom of your list?
I've said this before. I did not like the casting choice for Miss Marvel, and she completely won me over. So like, she's not the problem with that show for me. I think writing was a problem for that show with me, and I thought it was all right. It was all right.
So Todd's gonna put Miss Marvel below a show that he did not watch. Got it.
Which one?
What If?
I watched What If.
Oh, who said they didn't watch it besides me? I thought someone else said they didn't watch it. All right, that's fine. Mike, what would you put at the bottom of your list?
Let's put What If at the bottom. It was fine, but they didn't kind of do what I was hoping they were going to do with it.
Okay. Dom, what would you put at the bottom of your list?
The thinker.
I don't know. I guess if I'm putting anything at the bottom, it's probably What If.
All right, that's a unanimous What If because I'm gonna put it there by default because I did not watch it. So, I guess that'll bump us up to the next lowest rated show according to Todd, Miss Marvel. Does anyone have something they would put below Miss Marvel? I do.
I would probably put. I would probably put something like Moon Knight below Miss Marvel.
Todd, how are you feeling about that?
At the bare minimum.
Who, me?
I think
be higher up on my list.
I disagree completely.
I think the way
Moon Knight's like in my top half.
Okay. I think what we'll have to keep doing is sliding things down. So we'll start with whoever has the lowest. So Todd put Miss Marvel lowest. Mike saying he'd put Moon Knight below that. Dom, how do you feel about putting Moon Knight below that?
I would not put Moon Knight below Miss Marvel.
Todd would also not put Moon Knight below that. I would probably... It's tough. I really liked Miss Marvel. And I also am a defender of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I feel like when Falcon and Winter Soldier has its high moments, they're very good. But I feel like when it has its low moments, it's some of the worst out of the shows. I think...
Yeah, that's true.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Falcon and Winter Soldier is probably like my second. I'd probably do What If, then Falcon and Winter Soldier. So Miss Marvel, What If, Falcon and Winter Soldier are at my bottom.
Oh, so your bottom would your number 9 would be What If, your number 8 would be Miss Marvel, and your number 7.
No, I'm sorry, Miss Marvel, What If, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Wow, Todd really hates that show.
I just think it started the first episode. I was like fucking all. I'm not a huge Anthony Mackie fan, but like the first episode, I'm like, oh, I'm all in on the show.
Yeah,
And then
Todd hates Papa Doc.
I do hate Puppet Doc. I know. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think he can carry like a movie. I don't think he can carry.
Oh, this wasn't a movie, so. I mean, for me, the next two slots for me at 8 and 7 are probably going to be a toss up between, just looking at the rest of the shows, are probably going to end up being a mixture of Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, and Falcon Winter Soldier. So, do Mike or Dom feel comfortable putting Miss Marvel here, or Falcon Winter Soldier here, or Moon Knight here?
I don't know where here is.
Number 8.
Yeah.
Above What If.
Well, I already said my thoughts about how I would put. I would go What If, then Moon Knight, then some other things.
Well, so what I'm saying is both Todd and Dom.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier was the most boring of the shows that we have left.
Yeah, easily. Yep.
So
I didn't necessarily not enjoy it. I just think that it dragged a lot.
And it shouldn't for a 6-episode fucking run. Like, there's no reason that show should have been. And if COVID was affected by it, then they should have just fucking postponed it.
So Mike wants to put Moon Knight at 8. Todd wants to put Marvel at 8. Dom, what do you want to put at 8?
I don't know.
Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, Falcon, or something else?
I guess Falcon.
Then Falcon will hit a tie, because I'm going to probably put Falcon here too. Does anyone have a strong reason why Falcon should not be there? All right. So then that puts us at 7. Todd, are you sticking with Miss Marvel at 7?
Yes.
Mike, are you sticking with Moon Knight at 7?
Yes.
Dom, are you agreeing with either of those or introducing a new show?
I guess I'll put Moon Knight there.
Well, unless I agree with Todd, which
because it doesn't connect to anything right now. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I think my gripe with Miss Marvel too is I'm not a huge Captain Marvel fan. So like the fact that I know that's where the movie's going for the next one makes me not really excited.
So that's going to mean that both Mike and Dom think 7 is Moon Knight. Todd thinks 7 is Miss Marvel. I can either agree and tip the scales with Mike and Dom, or I can agree with Todd.
Or you can go solo.
I think I can. Well, if I go solo, it still doesn't matter. The two of them are gonna outweigh. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say I'm cool with Moon Knight at 7, but then that means for me, with the rest of these shows, the number 6 is Miss Marvel for me. I know Todd is gonna continue to agree because it's still his lowest rated show.
Yeah.
Mike, Dom, Miss Marvel next, or something else?
Oh, that's fair.
I think I would probably go with, at that point, I think I might actually go with WandaVision.
Wow. Well, unless Dom changes his answer, that is a 3-1 on Miss Marvel.
I actually was just looking at WandaVision too. I think I'm going to go Miss Marvel.
Okay. So
that means WandaVision's right above that.
So Dom has got WandaVision locked in at 5. Todd's going there too? Wow. Mike, are you my saving grace?
He was just going to put WandaVision at 6. So
yeah. Yeah, wow. You guys bumped me, so it's going to end up there.
Damn.
Which means Hawkeye is next.
For the record, WandaVision is my number 2, so I'm not fighting for that. I would probably, looking at the rest of these shows, I would probably put Hawkeye at 5. So Hawkeye would be my next. Actually, no. Fuck.
Loki,
Hawkeye. So Loki, Hawkeye. There's 3 left. No, Loki. She-Hulk is already by default because we all put it as number 1.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay,
so Loki, Hawkeye, and can I count properly? Are there 9 shows? There are 8 shows. So
well, we forgot about I Am Groot.
We did forget about I Am Groot. Yeah. I was going to bring that up, but I didn't watch it.
Put that in there too.
So then that leaves us with 3 shows and 3 spots. So we get Loki, Hawkeye. Wait, no, just Loki and Hawkeye. Am I? Can I count? What is going on?
I don't know if you can, but I'm
Just
also
2
not
shows.
keeping track of
There's
what
2
you're
shows
doing,
left. So right now we're at number 1. So number 7. Nope. Number 8 is What If. Number 7 is Falcon Winter Soldier. Number 6 is Moon Knight. Number 5 is Miss Marvel. And number 4 is Wanda. So that leaves us with the 2 and 3 slot being between Loki and Hawkeye.
Yeah, so I think it's Hawkeye Loki for me.
So Todd's going Hawkeye number 2, Loki
I'm
number
sorry.
3.
No, sorry. Hawkeye number 3, Loki number 2.
So let's just do 3. So 3 you want Hawkeye. Mike, 3,
Yes.
Loki or Hawkeye?
I put Loki.
Dom, Loki or Hawkeye? 3.
Hawkeye.
You said
Your vote decides it.
Todd said Hawkeye, Dom said Hawkeye, and you said Loki, Mike?
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't know. I think Hawkeye was very entertaining. I think it was one of the funnier shows, which I appreciated. I think
I agree.
that
I don't think it's close, though. I don't even think those two are close. As far as, like...
listen, I understand. I think that Kate Bishop was fantastic. I think that this was the first time that I cared about Hawkeye in the MCU.
Yeah.
They made him more human here. They gave him,
What do you mean? He had a family. He had to hide that shit.
He cool. He was a plot thread in the other ones. This time he got to actually like kind of deal with stuff. And I appreciate that this show is one of the few shows and or movies that deals with post snap like depression. Like he's dealing with loss of Natasha, he's dealing with loss of his friends, he's dealing with someone trying to, imitate him. He's losing his hearing. Like I liked this like aging, unstable hero. I enjoyed that aspect. I thought Kingpin was cool.
Didn't Falcon and the Winter Soldier also deal with
and that's why I think the highs of Falcon Winter Soldier really hit with me. I
think they like
Go
the
ahead.
Bucky part of Falcon and Winter Soldier. I feel like they like just didn't touch upon that enough. They kind of like wrapped it up way too quickly, and like it felt rushed. Where I think Bucky, like you said with like Hawkeye, I think there's a lot to unpack there with Bucky, and I just feel like there wasn't enough time to do that.
Yeah, no, I think they do a good job of like sunsetting Hawkeye. I think they do a good job of like dealing with the probable end of this hero in the MCU. I think the fucking Broadway show stuff was funny to me. I enjoyed that aspect of it. I'm gonna say this. I probably liked the overall villain of Loki more, and that might do it for me. And Loki gave me a little bit of that speculation that WandaVision
Yeah, like
did.
I felt like Loki had more speculation than Wanda did, and it had a better payoff.
So I'm guessing that means that puts me and Todd saying Hawkeye, or no, Dom also said Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-1 Hawkeye. That means our final list, the Pass the Controller list for the Disney Plus shows for the MCU Phase 4, is number 8, What If? Number 7, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Number 6, Moon Knight. Number 5, Miss Marvel. Number 4, WandaVision. Number 3, Hawkeye. Number 2, Loki. And a unanimous number 1, She-Hulk. I'm pretty okay with that list. I think WandaVision clearly being my number 2 is the only thing I would move. I think the rest of that looks pretty solid overall. I would potentially put Loki. No, I don't know. Again, I think Loki's just an hyped show. I don't really dislike the show. I just think it, Anyways, any final arguments to move anything on that list, or are we feeling pretty locked in?
No, but I'm very curious about how Mrs. Marvel is going to perform in the box office, because Thor: Love and Thunder didn't perform that well, and he's like a very beloved character as far as like everything's going, and people love that director. I just don't know what to expect from it. I think it's
but
I don't
think I don't think people's issues with Thor: Love and Thunder were Chris Hemsworth, or I guess maybe the director. It wasn't about the character. It was that people thought that it was too over the top, too jokey, and just like constant, like, that. I think that movie would have been a lot better. I enjoyed it. I think that movie would have been a lot better if
not only
there was more of the villain.
Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel, I feel like, is pretty much always talked about as being on the bottom out of all the movies. It's like in the bottom like 5. Whenever I hear people talking about their picks or like,
but that doesn't mean that this movie that is around 3 different people is going to be bad just because someone didn't like the origin story.
What the story is, because we don't know.
We don't know shit.
Yeah, so I don't know
anything.
Anyways, that brings us to the final part of the show, which is everyone's favorite.
I do wonder, like Todd, how it'll do, because I don't know. I think Wakanda Forever is gonna fucking do gangbusters.
Oh yeah, I think it looks amazing too.
Although it's a 3.5 hour movie or however long it is,
right,
so
yeah.
probably
3.5 hours.
I was exaggerating to make a point. It's long though. It's the second longest movie behind Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something.
I think that Black Panther could potentially underperform because I think that movie has a lot of aspects that are potentially could hurt the movie for the audience. A lot of people really don't want Shuri to be Black Panther. I feel like that's probably what they're going to do. It doesn't really necessarily bother me, or like I have a strong opinion either way about it, but I feel like that's going to really piss a lot of people off.
Some of the actors have already come out and said that they have not seen anybody say who the next Black Panther is, or nobody has gotten it 100% correct, I guess is what
I mean, it could be a thing where,
my thought is that there's going to be multiple Black Panthers.
It's possible. The other thing could be they bring in a multiverse Black Panther. The other thing could be the scenes.
Oh no, I think it's going to be
does.
like Nakia, Shuri, and
I hope it's Nakia. I would like it to be Nakia, but because it's a better actress.
Okoye is the third.
Yeah, maybe Okoye. I was trying to decide if it would be. I don't think it'll be M'Baku because he doesn't worship the Panther.
Yeah. Also, he's just like a big dude. I don't see a big dude being Black Panther.
Don't have just a fucking giant Panther guy.
Just jacked. Like.
I mean, the other thing
I kind of hope they give him like an actual gorilla suit to fucking wail on people.
I feel like the other thing too is people try to speculate who they think is in the suit in those brief moments in the trailers and teasers and stuff, but that could just be a fucking, they have put fake things in trailers before. It could be that. I don't know. I think Black Panther has extremely large shoes to fill, and it gets very complicated for a lot of reasons, and obviously one of those reasons being, no Chadwick Boseman. I think that is something to,
I will say this, so Ryan Coogler is a very good director, so like I have faith. Like it's kind of like when even though Dark Knight Rises isn't my favorite, when they lost
Heath Ledger.
What's it called? Heath Ledger. I had faith in Nolan that he'd still produce somewhat of a decent movie. Whereas like the same with Coogler, I think like even losing someone as big as the Black Panther and having him, Chadwick. I think that I have faith in him as a director. I think the trailer already looks amazing. Like,
I'll say that in addition to like Coogler seeming to have a control on like what needs to happen or like how they're going to move forward, it seems like the cast is kind of like bonded to move forward.
100%. Yeah.
So it seems like everybody's on the same page. Like, all right, this is something that we need to do for Chadwick.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
yeah, I hope it's good. I really liked the first Black Panther. That movie was fantastic. Like, I think the worst parts of Black Panther were that I thought some of the CGI in that movie was pretty bad. But I don't think that'll be the case this time around. I think that I mean, they literally
It's
make
gonna be worse now.
they literally make a joke about it in the finale of fucking She-Hulk, where he's like, Kevin's like, can you turn into, you know, Jennifer, because we don't have the budget for that. The animators have already moved on to something else, and then you hear fucking the Wakanda like music. I don't like the are they percussion
It was a
instruments, or
theme.
are they
Yeah.
wind instruments? Like the doo doo doo. I don't know what instrument that is.
The dudes.
Yes.
I said two different
Correct.
things. Sure.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay.
You got it. Nailed it.
Anyways, that brings us to everyone's favorite part of the show, which is what's in the box. If you're new to the show, what's in the box is a game where I pull 3 games off the back of my shelf. I read the back of the box. The panel has to guess what that game is based on what I read. Whoever gets first gets the point. The scoreboard for the year so far is Dom sitting pretty at 52 points, Todd behind him at 44, and Mike behind Todd at 34. A bunch of guess points on the board. Without further ado, game number 1. No escape from blank blank. The sprawling mega blank in the heart of blank blank, home of its most violent thugs and infamous blank blanks, with the
Cyberpunk
Arkham City.
2077.
Dom gets the point. It is indeed Arkham
Ooh.
City. Don't ask me why I have the Wii U version of that game.
Yeah,
Right.
I thought that was odd.
Game number 2. Dom fucking sniped that one. Blank have brought London to its knees. Use your blank 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 blank. The ultimate survival kit.
Watch Dogs 2?
No.
Watch Dogs.
No.
Watch Dogs Legion.
No. Legion is in the UK though. I think the other 2 are in
Yeah,
California
I know.
or something. The ultimate survival kit and fight back. Over 15 ways to use the blank 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 blank. Door
Zombie
hacking.
U?
Wow. Todd with the fucking snipe. It is indeed zombie.
These are gonna be
U.
all fucking Wii U games. God damn it.
Oh shit. No,
Fuck, I kinda wanna go back and
if
play that game
if that's
too
the case,
on the
I
Game
want
Pass.
to like just throw out my next guess now, but I can't remember the name of the game.
Yeah, right.
We'll go through it. If it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what
Bumpy's
I thought
Night.
it was.
If I had a physical copy of Bumpy's Night. Move over blank. It's blank time. You need the full title of this game. You got something, Mike?
No.
Oh. Play through 82 new blank in the world of blank 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 blank. Are you up for the
Super
challenge?
Luigi Bros. U.
I'll give it to you. It is indeed new Super Luigi Brothers U.
That's cheating. He didn't say new. He said the exact title.
I actually think the title is Super Luigi U. New
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Luigi
No.
U. Yeah, no one's gonna get that verbiage correct. Dom gets the point.
What was the name of that game? It was some.
I own it. I own a copy of it.
I don't know if you own a copy of it. I just remember this game existing when the Wii U came out. It was like this. It was like the one game that I think was known for being graphic in some way. Like it was very violent.
Oh,
The cover was like white with like
Mad World.
black silhouettes. Mad World.
Are you thinking about-
That is a Wii
I was
game.
thinking Mad City. I was gonna say Mad City. I was like, that's not right.
That is a Wii game.
Uh,
That
Did you guys ever
ends.
play Did you guys ever play Wii, the off
No.
topic, but
I have not.
Manhunt on the Wii? Did you guys ever? No, you guys no. Oh. That was fucking wild. That was even on Wii to begin with.
That leaves us with Dom ending the week at 54, Todd at 45, and Mike at 34. Thank you all so much for listening to this week's episode 337. Like I said at the top of the show, I'll be streaming on Saturday, October 22nd at 10 a.m. So make sure to come, tune in, hang out, and help us raise some money for MG. And on Thursday, October 20th, join us at 9 p.m. for a special engagement for Soul Hackers 2 and Atlas JRPGs. As always, you can find everything we do at PassTheController.io, on Twitter and on Instagram at PassController. You can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/PassController. You can support us in a bunch of different ways. Leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen to podcasts is very beneficial. Helps us grow the show and do cooler things and more things for you. If you have a few bucks kicking around and want to help support the show, you can subscribe to us on Twitch. You can buy something from our store at passthecontroller.threadless.com. You can become a patron at patreon.com/passthecontroller. You can follow me at bgroom. You can follow Mike at _mycopath, Todd at Toddy_by_nature. You can find Dom at PTC_one little spark. Until next time.